Okay, so let's start. Let me put my position in the right place. Okay, so good morning, good evening to everybody from, as far as we know, at least about 12 different countries around the world. Great to see you all. We have our weekly hub session started. There are a few points I want to mention to start. We are one of the companies in the hub. PolyUp itself is a company in the hub. I am the CEO of the PolyUp. I give an update. A few great news we have. One is that June 28th, Monday, June 28th, we are now set for the Anushan Sari, the CEO of XPRIZE, is going to give us a talk here, come out for a conversation with the hub startups. And that is very critical, as many of you have been working on. We want to make sure we have the best possible machines about carbon removal to get ready for that session. So over the next 3 weeks, we need significant iteration on the products of various companies in this area. And that relates us to the opportunity we have, especially today. We have Monish, the boss. I'm going to introduce him later today about product design. Is going to be fantastic to get ideas and inputs from him on how to make the design of the carbon removal solutions that you're putting together. So that's really the focus over the next 3 weeks. As I mentioned earlier, we need to make sure that each of the companies at least have one machine that you kind of collaborate on. You know, each of the team members can make different machines, but it's good that as a team you decide which direction would be more effective, better solution, and start to clone that among your team and refine it and get it better and better to get ready. That's one big news. The second big news I have is as of today, the hub is now open for everybody to join. That means now your companies are going to have the chance to attract various talents and grow your company, bring more team members. Some of you may not have, may want to have more co-founders. You can add them, and the process of doing this is now very simple. So if I can share my screen here, and I will show you if you just simply go to polyup.com, which is the site has been updated, you will see at the bottom of the site here there is a join PolyUp Discord open for anybody in the world to join. So to any friends and classmates or whoever you want, you can just send them. They can immediately join Discord. They can see the conversation in the hub. They cannot write anything yet. They can see all the conversation. And then when they get there, there is one channel that's open. They can see the Innovation Hub, all the activities, all the great work that you're doing. They can see the hub products, all the products that you're putting up. They see all the amazing work they're doing to inspire them to want to join. And then there is a Join Innovation Hub Challenge, which has one application there. And they're going to go and fill that application. And by filling that application, if they have minimum of 500 Polycoin, then they can join as a team member. They come in and they can interview various companies. So as soon as they fill that application, they can see the company's channels. And there's only one of the channels will be open to them, which is the interview channel. So they can reach out to each of the whichever startup they like, they can reach out to that and start to have a conversation with you. You can also see always who has joined most recently to the hub. And if you want to bring a talent, inspire them to join your startup, you can initiate the discussion with them. So this is exactly like what happens in a real startup. You want to increase the talent in your startup to grow. So as of this week, the big news is the door is now open. All of you that pioneered this over the past few months to get it here, now because of all your input and all the work you did, we found a way, and based on your input, we have a path to now bring talent from anybody outside. So that's a great news to have for all. So last piece, the number of startups are now is 14. Is not possible to have all the startups every time to give an update. There is, in the same one spreadsheet which everybody has seen, there is a place for adding the startups that they want to give updates. We're going to have up to 10 startups. They can give updates in a session. So please fill in. If you need to do today, there's still 3 slots open. You can put your name in and give your update. It is in the same spreadsheet. There's only one spreadsheet, the same one that talks, has a list of all the startups, their team members. There is a CEO weekly updates. So you can go there and add and make sure you get a slot that you can give the updates. Okay, with that, let's start from the first company. Please be ready. The order, as you see here, it starts from STEM Velocity Hub, then go Grand, Poly Innovators, Samurais, NGI, Golden Ratio, SCT, and CTT. Please be ready to share your screen, share your own camera, right away to go. One last news, as of next week, we are going to go to a more production platform, that not Zoom, and we can have many of you be ready to give your presentation. So we're going to make this more and more efficient. Last piece, the new PolyUp.com is because of inputs you all provided, is all open. It's your page. So bring any ideas you have, again, discuss it, and let's make it better. So with that, let's start with the STEM Velocity Hub, and let's go ahead. Please share your screen and your video, and please start. John Mark?
I don't think John Mark is here.
Okay, so you can go ahead. You are from the company?
Yeah. So this week I've been doing online school and a lot of exams, but I've been trying to fit in the carbon challenge and ideas to my capacity of doing my research and all that. John Mark has all the presentations, but since he's not here, I'm just gonna explain to you what we've been doing. So, oh, he's here. Okay. So basically, I'm going to start working on a machine. I was looking at other machines to get idea. And the thing I want to work on is I want to explain to people that carbon emissions from companies and from cars are not the only thing that affect the earth. Even food can affect how much carbon emission is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a whole machine showing all the different types of carbon emission. How I'm going to implement the removal is kind of a surprise. So maybe in the next video, I'll show that to you in the finished product.
So hi guys again.
Fantastic.
Sorry for the delay.
No problem, John Mark. So in general, if any team member can provide the update, that's fine. So no problem. That was great update. Thank you. Let's go to the next company, Grand Poly Innovators.
Hello, I am the CEO of Grand PolyUp company. I am Alioda Shamrasanlı. My company is newly established. This week I created a carbon cleaner, merchant, and 4 logos.
Can you share your screen and show that? And also please show, start your video.
Yes, 1 minute.
And after this will have Samurais, please be ready to share your screen and your video just in the list. Then after that is NGI. Go ahead, please.
Can you see?
Yes. And can you unmute, can you put your camera also on, please? Go ahead.
This is Poly. Forward. Back. I thought it was the best way to clean carbon from trees. There are mountains. This water flows down from the mountains. Machine is not ready yet. Moving chips will also be added.
That's great. So please keep in mind, as the discussion was on the hub, to add the generation and removal of the carbon as part of your simulation. There is some examples there. That's very important for all the machines to show there's a negative net carbon. You need to make sure to show that. And also, what's the story of how you have, for example, all the trees. But that's great. Anything else?
And the 4 logos. First logo, second logo, third logo, and the later first logo. Thank you to everyone.
Fantastic. And make sure that you build the logo that you guys decide inside PolyUp such that you can show a dynamic movement and generation of the logo. That would be very impressive. Thank you. Let's go next. Samurais.
Yes, I'll share my screen. So this week we have been working a bit on the furniture library. We have created one of the parts in Paint 3D. Now we have imported into Blender. I'll open the file. We have created only one part so far. This is the desk we created. And then we have been creating some prototypes. For example, this text chip we created. So there'll be a new text chip here. If you search for it, you'll get it. And when you click on it, it inserts this text chip. You can change the text properties inside this text chip. Actually, we are going to be collaborating with the creative technology team on this idea, because we need to add alphabets and many more things, like we are going to convert this into a text block. Next, we created a shortcut, keyboard shortcut for the arrow chips. So when you go into the options tab for any arrow chip, you will get this new option here. So you can set some shortcut for each of these. For example, if I want to set the shortcut as D for down arrow, I can type it here. And then we have been working a lot on the carbon removal solution. So here there's a drone which moves up with the help of its 4 propellers. It's a completely solar drone, and it plants bamboo and waters them using this bamboo and seed dispenser here. Currently, I loaded it with 10 bamboo seeds. So after it's out of bamboo, it will show me a land button. As you can see, it's out of bamboo. So when I click on this land button, it slowly lands the drone. And this drone is going to plant bamboo for a factory to generate electricity. This bamboo can be used as a biomass fuel in a factory to generate electricity. So here the bamboo biomass is heated, and then it is used as fuel to heat this water container on top. Then the water turns into steam and drives this turbine here, which generates electricity. And then the electricity is sent to the grid and finally to the houses here. Also, we have shown the carbon impact of this solution here. So as you can see, with only 7 acres of bamboo plantation, we can achieve a net carbon impact. So you can see here, if I increase the number of factories, I have to increase the number of acres to achieve a net carbon impact. And that's it, what we have
That's
done.
fantastic. Can you put it back up, Jogan? I have a question. That's
Yes.
great, especially because you're showing actual net carbon production and removal. What is the unit? What is the unit right now? Is it per year, per what?
Yes, it's per year. So it
Per
shows
year.
all of these are per year, and it shows the carbon amount of carbon in tons.
Carbon in tons. So the numbers we were saying, the negative number we are saying is in ton. So,
yes, it's reducing it by that many tons.
And each year takes how long? 1 second in your simulation? How long does it take?
In one frame.
In one frame. So means that 1 second is 60 years?
Yes.
Okay. One suggestion might be, see if you can make it slower such that you show every year to be 1 second, to have to show your solution like in the next 30 years, to be in your lifetime, what's the impact of the carbon removal?
Okay, we will work on that.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next startup is NGI, and golden ratio, please be ready, is after that. NGI, Amin, please go ahead and share your screen and your camera.
Hello everyone, I am Amin, CEO of Next Generation Innovators. We created 2 hub products for this week. The screen. First of all, we have the ideas for main page PolyUp site. Sorry for this. Okay, we can make this Earth in 3D, and we can show the of PolyUp in the partners of PolyUp countries, the countries in this Earth, or we can rotate this Earth. Our machine is our carbon removal solution machine is this. We will develop this machine. For example, we will add portal tips, information tips, and etc. This is the demo project of grid project, and also we created the prototype design for save parts for later. If we drag the part to there, like the clone parts, we can see the pop-up, save for later pop-up. We must give a name to this part, for example, an example part, and save it. Use the parts from the save parts section. We can see the parts in there. Example parts are also here. We can delete this part from here. You can see from like this, and that's it.
That's great. Thank you. I mean, in the session that you have, the design session that you have after this, make sure that the ideas you're talking about get discussed among everybody and be able to bring this up. Okay, so next startup is the golden ratio SCT. Please be ready to go after golden ratio. Go ahead, please.
Hello, I am the CEO of Golden Ratio, and I'm going to show you what are we going to do. So first, this is the audio ship. This audio ship allows you to add audio to describe your machine instead of a YouTube video. You can, for example, add audio if you don't have a YouTube channel. Some people don't have YouTube channels, so they can add audio to describe their machines. And the next thing is, I'm not sure about this idea actually, but I need your opinions and I'm planning to do a forum about it. This is Poly in real game, like for people who don't have access to the internet, and some people don't have even computers or phones to join PolyUp. So we can create a game like Legos and add parts and blocks, cubes, with numbers and equations. The next thing is adding new characters. So this is not the actual idea, but here's to how are we going to do it. For example, here's a new character named Sabi or Jimmy. You can choose your own character when you join Poly, but Poly is the main character. In this project, we are collaborating with a super capable team, Startup One. Here's their library. They are working on it on Blender to do the parts, hair, glasses, and everything. And we are collaborating with them. So Ava is the CEO of super capable team. Ava, do you have something to add?
No, that's a pretty good explanation.
Okay, thank you so much. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Aliozi. That's great. It's fantastic that the three things you mentioned, one of them, as you started already, that's great that the two of the startup collaborating on the Poly avatars, and that's fantastic. That your team and the super capable team should work together. There's a lot to do because you have to go learn. All of you learn the 3D design and be able to bring all this to life. So that's fantastic. The other idea about the voice chip or the sound chip that you mentioned, there is another startup working on that. I actually don't remember right now the name of the company, but you should, Stephanie, if you can let them know which company it is, such that they get connected. And there is a very big effort going to bring both sound and music through a chip. So it's very good if you can provide inputs to that. And the other idea you had as far as the physical PolyUp, this is actually amazing. I will share with you some prototype of this that has been made. It's fantastic idea. Maybe you can work on that and make it a better shape or form. So all three ideas are great. I suggest make sure in the next 2 weeks work on a machine for carbon removal to make sure that you present it by the 28th. That's great. So let's go the next company. The last two company is CST and CTT. Please be ready. CST, please go ahead.
Are you talking to us?
Super capable team.
Oh, okay. We were SCT. Okay, I was just confused. I thought there was another
That's
company.
right. SCD. You guys are putting acronyms. Super capable team. Can you please share your video and share your screen and go ahead?
Oh, okay, sure. So here are the parts that we were originally thinking of, and this is for the library. I'm pretty sure the Golden Ratio just went, and we're going to be collaborating with them. Hopefully we can get some of the elements of their designs into ours as well, and then we can get a better design in general. Currently we're working on putting these in Blender, and that's pretty much it for this. For the color picker to go with the skin colors and hair colors, this we're gonna stop for a little while and work more on the carbon removal because we don't have as much time. We are trying to work more on the carbon removal for now. And last but not least, we have carbon removal, I believe this is. Some ideas here. I'm just waiting for it to load, sorry. So here's some ideas, and then Peter, I believe he's not on the Zoom meeting. I don't know why, but Peter actually made a few ideas that are in some machines for poly. For example, like a machine that plants trees like a drone, and I believe there was something else that he said he was going to make something that could possibly suck carbon out of air. Um, and these are just some ideas that we've come up with, and eventually we're gonna put some of the best ones in some machines in PolyUp, and that's pretty much it for this. And I think we're done.
Okay, thank you. The last company for today is CTT. Go ahead, please. Nikon?
Yeah. Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, please share your screen and your camera.
Okay. My camera isn't working.
Sure, no problem. Go ahead.
Because I'm on a PC, so it doesn't
Sure.
look like a. Basically, okay. So this week, we're doing some collaborations with another company, and they sent some like ideas for like I think it was like how to make the text better in PolyUp. And with our library and their ideas, we're gonna collab and make something cool.
Great.
It's I think it's the Samurais. So yeah,
that's great.
That's what we're doing right now.
Very good. And Nikon, make sure that from your company also you have some effort on the carbon involved in the next 3 weeks to be ready for that. That's great. This collaboration on the text is very important. Text is really needed. Okay, so thanks everybody. We are done for the presentations of the companies for today. We want to move into the last part. We are very happy to have Monish the boss here with us today. Monish is a top-notch product design lead, 3D and motion graphic expert. He has been done many work in various companies. He used to be in Google, leading the product design there for the Google Map, and now is in Facebook in the role of the product design. Monish, we are extremely happy to have you here. The various startups here have realized how critical and important is the role of product design, and we are elated to have you here today to talk about this. And let's have some, if you can go and give us some overview, and then the kids can ask the question and answer, that would be great. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. First off, it was super exciting to see all these projects. I think it's very impressive to see a group like this, age group like this, coming together and collaborating on a project, a problem as big as carbon reduction, which is a global issue. And I'm really impressed at the way everyone here is kind of taking prototyping and design seriously, and using math and science to solve a large world problem, which is great. I guess I can talk a little bit about my journey. but I'm here actually just to answer a lot of your questions because I'm sure you have a lot. But I went to an art high school growing up. I was very creative, and then I also liked coding. I liked making a lot of websites when I was young. Back then, it was a lot harder. We didn't have as many tools like PolyUp available to do fun, engaging kind of things without coding. So I went to get my undergraduate degree in computer science. But I always liked things that revolve around computer graphics, kind of merging coding and design to quickly solve problems. And so I then also studied a little bit of animation. So it's great to see all the work that you're doing in 3D and Blender, because I worked a lot in Maya before as well. And I did a lot of motion graphics as well. And I think it's so impressive for me to see that, you guys are all, I would say, light years ahead of where I was at your age. So you're already very impressive. So that's my story. And so I've also been, so the past 7 years I was working as a UX engineer at Google and doing a lot of prototyping and research. So a lot of what we do is like what you're doing right now. We build a lot of prototypes and then we test that in user studies. So that was my path over there. And now I'm doing a lot of front-end product design at Facebook. So I've had a very, very weird journey, but I essentially I love creating and yeah. So let's see. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, I see a bunch over here in here. Should I just pick them up?
Let's ask them. Yeah. Let them the chance to ask. Vignesh, do you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question, please, and put your videos on, please. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hello.
So what inspired you to be a product designer?
Yeah, I think for the longest time, when I first got out of school, growing up, my parents were always said, you have to make money. And, for me, growing up in my culture was being an engineer or, a doctor were the two things that my parents thought of would be good careers. But I learned early on that you have to figure out what you're good at, what makes you happy, what makes, what you're passionate about doing, and then figure out, is there a career around that? I think, 20, 30 years ago, the role of product design wasn't very well known. This was before we had mobile phones. Products were very limited. You were either doing hardware design or you're doing website design. So I think there's a lot more opportunity now. And for me, I always liked making things and I liked designing, I liked prototyping, I liked coding. And product design for me now is a career that actually encompasses all the things that I love doing. So every time I go to work, I love doing what I do, regardless of what I'm working on, because I get to employ all the skills in my tool set. And so I would encourage everyone here to also ask yourself, when you're young, try everything, learn as much as you can. Like maybe you like doing 3D, maybe you like, managing a group, like as a program management, right? Like you like getting everyone together, you like collaborating with people, maybe you like designing more. You probably won't know the answer to that till later on, maybe like 10 years down, what you're really good at and what you're passionate about. But that's why I became a product designer.
Yes, sir.
But,
thank you.
Great, thank you. So let's go next. Amin, do you have a question? Go ahead, please.
I don't have a question, but I said I have already seen your website. This great website. Congratulations.
Thank you, Amin.
Okay, great. So next, go to Noel. Noel, can you please go ahead with your question?
Is there an age for success, and what should we do if we're underestimated by our elders?
That's a good question, Noel. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 12 going to 13.
12 going to 13. Let me see. When I was 12 going to 13, I was in art high school. I was drawing a lot. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I will say you will always be underestimated by not only elders, but by other people, right? I think for me, I always have the mentality that instead of speaking about my work, I demonstrate my value by what I do versus what I say. And so you're always going to be doing this throughout life, right? So I just recently joined Facebook, a totally new team, totally new product. And so I'm going there and trying to like not say, hey, I'm great. I've done all these amazing things in the past, because that doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It's what you're doing now and how you interact with people, how you show up for work. And so you're always proving yourself in life, right? And I think don't let that get you down. I think there's a term called imposter syndrome, where people will always feel that they don't belong or they're not good enough. A little bit of that is good, right? It'll encourage you to always be a hard worker and be very diligent and good at what you do. And so in terms of age, I think it's not so much as age as, like how comfortable you are with the work you're doing and whether you're being challenged at what you do. So I will say just respond by doing great work, and you'll have maybe you have a few more years where you can figure out how to answer that question.
Fantastic. Thank you. So let's go next. Patience, go ahead with your question, please.
Hi, my question is, who was your role model and like who inspired you to become what you are today?
Oh, that's a good one. I've had a few role models, but I will say growing up, my father and my mother probably had the most impact on me. And my father didn't do what I did. He was more of a diplomat. He worked in a different field, and my mother, stayed at home and raised us. She didn't work while we were growing up. But what I took from them, like my father, what I took from him was diligence at work. Like I always remember in the morning, watching him get up and get ready for work and making sure that I do my homework. So he was always instilled in me the sense of making sure I do everything right and don't slack and have this responsibility to and a good work ethic. And from my mother, I learned this idea of, maybe don't work as hard. Something, you have to take care of your own health. And then also like love other people. And, so unconditional love I got from my mother. And so I'd say those are the two things that, even though that they weren't technically in the field of work that I do now, they gave me the tools, the soft skills that I needed to be successful where I'm at today.
Fantastic. So next, let's go to Ava. Can you turn on your camera? Go ahead, please.
So when did you realize you liked product design?
Yeah. So it's not so much a realization. It's kind of so when I was growing up and I got out of college, I was doing a lot of design agency work. So back then, this was pre-iPhone, pre-Android phone. So a lot of design was around like either you were designing logos, like brand identity, actual product design was actually like packaging design, or you were designing websites. So that was the world I went into. And so product design to me is kind of now the way we think of it is a relatively novel concept that started around 2007 when the iPhone was invented, right? So now you have phone design, now you have Internet of Things design, right? Like you designing hardware that's interconnected with UIs. You have car UIs now. So you have all these there's a proliferation of platforms that you can design for now. And for me, I kind of segued into it, right? For me, I always thought I would be a web designer, or I'd be a motion designer, or I'd be I wanted to, for my dream job when I was a kid was to work at Pixar because I wanted to make 3D animations. But you don't know you don't know what life is going to throw at you, right? You don't know how technology is going to change. You don't know, maybe in 10 years, there might be even a new field that shows up, right? When you guys grow up. So just keep an open mind, right? Think about again, I always say focus on what you love doing, because the platforms and the things that are out there, technology will always change. So just learn as much as you can and be on top of things, but don't lose sight of what brings you passion.
Fantastic. Thank you. Vignesh, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Like what are the softwares you mostly use for 3D modeling? It's like I always get confused in that, and the other few are Blender. All like Blender are really hard. I
Yes,
like want tutorials and all.
yes, Vignesh. I would say of all the tools that I had to learn, 3D was probably the most hardest for me to pick up. It is very complicated. Navigating a UI in 3 dimensions requires a lot of key and mouse combinations, and it gets very confusing. I learned on 3D Studio Max and Maya. So Maya is the industry standard, but now Blender is so good. I know a lot of you guys use Blender. I think Blender is an amazing tool. It's evolved, it's open source. So I would say, if you want to learn one thing, use that. I know there's also Cinema 4D, which is another tool. The one thing I would say is if you learn how to navigate one program, it's relatively moderately easy, I'd say, to learn another one. So don't think about it as like I need to learn a tool, more as I need to learn a technology, like a technology or a way of working, right? So learn 3D, pick a program that's currently accessible to you, which I would say is Blender because it's free, and just learn as much as you can, take tutorials on that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next, Lynn, please go ahead.
Okay, but I'm sorry, I can't share my video because I use computer. I'm Lynn and I'm 13 years old and I'm from Palestine. I want to ask you, what is the project you are most proud of it, and at what age did you make it?
Thank you, Lynn. So I will have a bit of recency bias and say that the project I'm most proud of is about 2 or 3 years ago for Google Maps. We had a partnership with Nintendo where we, for driving navigation, we allowed users to kind of show up as Mario Kart and navigate their world that way. So we did that. That was probably my most project that I enjoyed doing most because I led it and I got a bunch of people together, and it was great work with Nintendo, and we worked really fast on it, and it launched and a lot of people loved it. So it brought joy to a lot of people for a week, and that was great. And I did that when I was 38. So age doesn't matter, I would say. I know that's probably sounds really old to everybody over here. I am 40 right now. So you have a lot of time. I would say, even when I was younger, I would think, oh man, when am I gonna like break through? When am I gonna do something great? But don't let time bother you. I would say just be a sponge, learn as much as you can, and when lightning strikes, it will strike. Don't go chasing lightning.
Fantastic. Jagan, please go ahead.
Yes. Hi, I'm Jagan. Have you ever faced failures in life? If yes, how did you overcome them?
Yes, I have. And it's funny how you define failure. So I mentioned earlier that for the longest time, I thought my career path when I was in college and grad school was I wanted to work at Pixar. I wanted to work. That to me was the holy grail of working, as a 3D animator, making a story, working on a Pixar movie. And when I was 26, I did get a job interview there. So they flew me out to California. I did a whole day's worth of interviews with about 6 or 7 people, and I presented. Super excited. I was like so close to my dream. And then I found out later that I did not get the job, and that was probably the only time I've ever actually like almost cried about not getting a job, because it felt like my ultimate dream was crushed, right? And I was upset for a few months. I thought, what am I going to do? But what it did to me then was it forced me to reevaluate my career and say, what do I want to do with my life? And that kind of put me on the path unknowingly to then switch jobs to another place. And then that eventually led me to a job at Amazon, and that led me to a job at Google. And so I found a path that I love what I'm doing now, but it wasn't the path I thought I was going to, if you asked me in college I was going to be doing this, I would have said, that's not what I want to do. But again, be as flexible, but I would say that was one time where I was really upset.
Thank you.
Great. Emin, go ahead, please.
Hello again. If you will create a design or animation, motion design, what's your plan for creating this?
I mean, do you mean what my process was like for making that?
Sorry.
Do you mean what my process is like?
Yeah.
Okay, I will say, let's see, for an animation, it depends how. For design, it's simple. I sit down, I sketch, I think about what, you know, if I'm designing a feature for, say, a user feature that's going to be an in-app or something that somebody's going to use, I try to think about who's going to be using it, how will they use it, and then I'll do some writing, I'll do some sketching before I get into actually like Figma or Envision or something and start mocking screens out. For animation, if I'm doing a video, again, you know, I think about who the audience is, and then maybe I'll think of in my mind what concepts are, like I storyboard it out. I'll do some sketches, and then I'll go into After Effects and start making it.
Second.
Fantastic. We'll have room for one more question. Zarifa, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Zarifa. I'm from Azerbaijan. And can you please tell which book do we need to have for starter designers?
Oh, that's a good question. So it depends how deep you want to go. There's a book. So there's a book called Don't Make Me Think, which is more about interface design. It's by Steve Krug. Initially, he wrote it for websites, but now I think it's evolved for apps as well. But it just goes into a lot of the considerations you have to take as a designer when thinking about making it as easy and intuitive as possible for users to use your interfaces. That's one. Another big one, it's a book, very timeless. It's called The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. And Don Norman is kind of thought of as one of the fathers of usability, but he, you know, just talks about a lot of things in this book, not just digital things, but he talks about actually physical things as well, that and the usability of them. So for example, one example he talks about is doorknobs, right? Or like when you go through a door, like what makes a usable doorknob? A round doorknob, or how do you know whether to push or pull? So it's very interesting when you think about all these things that we take for granted in life, but there's a design and functionality behind it, and he exposes a bit of that. So it's a good read. It's timeless, and so I would recommend that, Design of Everyday Things.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So there are more questions, but Monish, we don't want to get more of your time. This was fantastic and really appreciated. It was very inspiring, and what all the startups are doing here, really product design is the heart and the center of the part that they're doing. So really appreciate that. I have one question that always the kids are asking, and when they come to this kind of session, they like to know if you will be kind enough to become an advisor for the companies every now and then, not to take much of your time, but if they have questions, they're looking for sharing it through some social media with you, and if they can get your help to advise them, you know, as they go forward. Is that okay with you?
Yes, definitely. And again, I'm very impressed with what I saw today. So really great work. And I think this is a big problem, carbon reduction, right? And I think just everything that I've seen, I'm blown away by what I've seen today. So do feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to advise where I can.
Fantastic. So congratulations to all the team. You now have another amazing advisor for your product design. Really, really appreciate it, Manoj. Thank you. So here we come to the end of the session. Thanks everybody for all the hub members that want to continue to have the discussion with our design coach, with Muhammad, please remain here and you can discuss further details of the ideas you had on how to make the libraries, make the platform better, and look forward to see great and amazing work you're going to do next week, Saturday. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody. Have a great day and night. Thank you, Manush.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Bye. Muhammad, are you here?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can take it from here, man.
Okay, that's great.
Hello, Mohammed.
Hi everyone.